Hello everyone. Today I am explaining chapter tissues for class 9. Tissues, plants and animal tissues. So let's start with the word tissues. First of all, you should know the relation between these terms: cell, tissue, organ system and organism, the whole organism. You may understand this starting from organism or starting from cell. In both the ways I will be explaining you. You all know that cell is structural and functional unit of all living organism. Many cells, same type of cells, many cells, they group together to form a tissue so that they can carry out a special type of work. Many tissues, that means group of tissues, they work together and form an organ. Many organs, they form an organ system. You know, in animals there are many organ systems like digestive system, circulatory system, then nervous system, respiratory system and so on. But in plants there are only two systems. One is the root system and the other is the shoot system. So plants, they have only two systems. One is underground root system and the other is shoot system, which is above the ground. Then these systems, whatever the number of organ system is present, in plants there are only two, in animals there are more than two systems. So they will form an organism. That means group of all these organ system will constitute an organism. Now if you start from an organism is composed of many organ systems. Each organ system is made up of or constitute many organs. Each organ is made up of many tissues and each tissue is composed of many cells. So this is a relation of cell, tissue, organ system and organism. Now we'll come to the term tissues. As I have told you here, tissue is a group of cells, similar cells. To carry out, they will be performing a special type of function that is called tissue. Since plants and animals are different, so plant tissues and animal tissues are also different. First, I will be telling you about all plant tissues with the help of flowchart, and later on we will be discussing about animal tissues. Now, in plants, there are two main types of tissues. Number one is called the meristematic tissue and second is permanent tissue. So in plants, there are two main types of tissues, meristematic and permanent. Now, what are meristematic? These meristematic tissue, remember, tissue is made up of many cells. So whenever we are using the term tissue, means it is made up of group of cells. So this meristematic tissue is present in the meristem. Now what is meristem? Meristem means areas in plants where these meristematic tissues are present. What are certain characteristics of meristematic tissue? Number one is, most important is, and in this way you can differentiate meristematic and permanent. First is, meristematic tissue is made up of actively dividing cells. That means they keep on dividing. They always continuously they divide, and so they are called actively dividing cells. Out of meristematic cells, the cells, those who will lose ability to divide, will become permanent tissues. That means permanent tissues have made from meristematic tissue, but they stop dividing, non-dividing and specialized. They become specialized to perform certain functions. So basic difference between meristematic and permanent is, these are dividing cells, actively dividing cells, and these are non-dividing cells. Now this I will be telling you in detail later on. First you see, now if these are permanent tissues, because meristematic, they are made up of actively dividing cells. Permanent tissues, they are of three types according to the function they perform. They are protective, they are supportive and they are conducting tissues. First of all, protective tissue, because as the name indicates, protective means they will be protecting various plant parts. So epidermis, what is epidermis? the outermost covering of plant part, outermost covering of leaf, outermost covering of root, outermost covering of stem. That is made up of epidermis. Since it is outermost covering, it is protective in function. It will be protecting the plant part. Now in epidermis, in old stems, this epidermis is replaced by bark. That is the woody stem. It will convert into woody stem. And bark, it also contains cork cells. Cork cells, they are dead cells. Now a cell is said to be dead in plants, especially when it loses its protoplasm. You all know protoplasm means nucleus and cytoplasm. So if any cell, any plant cell will lose its cytoplasm and will lose its nucleus or protoplasm, then the cell becomes dead. So cork cells, they are dead cells and they are composed of waterproof material called suberin. Similarly, the protective covering of leaf, that is upper epidermis and lower epidermis, especially the upper epidermis of leaf, is composed of waterproof material that is called waxy coating cuticle. So in leaves there is cuticle outside the epidermis, and in stems, I told you, in bark there are cork cells which are made up of suberin, the waterproof material. Both waxy coating cuticle and bark, that is suberin, will make them waterproof. Second type, this is all about protective tissue. Now supportive tissue, they are of three types. One is parenchyma, second is collenchyma, and third is sclerenchyma. Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. See, basic difference between them. They all are present in plants. These all are plant tissues. Parenchyma, they are made up of cells which they have thin cell wall. Okay. These are living cells. They have thin cell wall and their function is to store food. Basically to store food. Collenchyma, they are made up of living cells. The cells, they have thick cell walls because they have deposition of cellulose in the corners, especially in the corners. Cellulose is deposited and the cell walls are thick. Sclerenchyma is made up of dead cells. As I told you, dead cell means there is no nucleus, no cytoplasm. So this sclerenchyma is made up of dead cells. Why the cells are dead? Number one, they don't have any nucleus, no cytoplasm. And secondly, their cell wall is too thick due to deposition of lignin. Now, wherever the lignin is present, lignin will make them dead. These sclerenchyma, they help in mechanical function. That means they will be providing mechanical support to the plant part. So, these are three types of supportive tissue. And finally, conducting tissues. Now, as the name indicates, conducting means they help in conduction, transport. These conducting tissues are xylem and phloem. Now, xylem is tissue, phloem is also tissue, and these are complex because they are made up of more than one type of cells. Protective is simple tissue and conducting is complex tissue. Why it is called complex tissue? Because it is made up of more than one type of cell. Now in class 8th also you have learned that xylem is composed of 4 types of cells. Number 1 is xylem tracheids. Xylem tracheids. Then second is xylem vessels. Third, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma or xylem fiber. These are 4 types of xylem cells. Xylem tracheids, xylem vessel, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma or xylem fiber. Out of these, only xylem parenchyma is living. I just told you that parenchyma are living cells. So only xylem parenchyma is living. Others, tracheids, vessels and sclerenchyma is dead. They are made up of dead cells. So we can say that xylem, which is a conducting tissue in plant, is a dead tissue which is composed of 3 dead cells. Now, phloem is also conducting tissue. Phloem is also made up of, number one, phloem fiber. Then second is sieve tubes. Third is companion cells. And fourth is phloem fiber, phloem parenchyma. These are 4 cells. Main are sieve tube cells and companion cell. Companion will give company to sieve tube. Sieve tubes, they do not have any nucleus, and companion cells, they have dense cytoplasm with nucleus. So with the help of companion cell, sieve tube will help in transport or conduction of food. This process is known as translocation. Plus phloem fiber and phloem parenchyma. Here only phloem fiber is dead. Phloem fiber is dead. Here see, similarly xylem sclerenchyma, xylem fiber is also dead. Phloem fiber, wherever fiber is there, it is dead. And rest 3 are living. So we can say that phloem is composed of living cell. Now again see, xylem and phloem both are conducting tissues. What does it conduct? Xylem, made up of 4 cells, what does it conduct? It conducts water and minerals from roots to aerial parts of the plant, especially the leaves, for the production of food by the process of photosynthesis. Phloem is also conducting tissue. What will it conduct? Once the leaves, they will prepare food. This food will be conducted by phloem cells. That means by phloem. And which cells they help in conduction? Sieve tube and companion cells. They help in conduction of food through phloem cells. Now come back to meristematic, and once more you can revise it that in plants, tissues, 2 types of tissues are there. One is meristematic and the other is permanent. Now come to meristematic. Now meristematic tissue is made up of actively dividing cell. Where are they present? There are 2 types of meristem or meristematic tissue. One is called the apical meristem and the second is called the lateral meristem. Apical and lateral. Now what is apical? It is present in the apex, means the tip of the stem, tip of the branches, tip of the axillary buds. So apical meristem is present at the tip of a stem or branches. So what will it do? How will it help? Because this is made up of actively dividing cell. So this will help the stem to grow in height. The stem will grow in height because of apical meristem. Lateral meristem, suppose this is a stem. Suppose this is a stem, roughly I am telling you. So this lateral meristem is also called cambium. It is present just below the epidermis, that is bark, and between the wood. So what will it do? If it is present on the lateral side of the stem, so it will help the stem to grow in diameter. A stem will grow in diameter or grow in width or grow in girth also, you say. So stem will grow in height. It will grow in height due to apical meristem, and the stem will grow in diameter due to lateral meristem. This is all about plant tissues. In next video, I will be explaining you about animal tissues. Thank you.